Good afternoon. It is November the 1st, 2019. This is the Bull Market Watch live stream where we go over 7 different cryptocurrencies and then we go over any of your requests. I'm going to jump into the disclaimer to say this isn't trading advice, even though we're going over specific charts and all the details. It's just commentary against our trading plan. Now I want to be sure that the live chat is working and that I'm streaming in the right place. If you've tuned in from wherever you are in the world, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are from. Of course, if you find this live stream interesting, I would appreciate the thumbs up and the subscription, especially while we are live here. Now, thousands of followers, customers, and subscribers have been watching our YouTube stream channel over the last years, and our official crypto alerts with time-stamped Coinigy charts have given out alerts that have been really kicking butt here. AMB up 98%, MDA up 112%, Link up 62%, and these are great to call them, but to call it when to get out of the trade is just as important as when to get into the trade. Wouldn't you agree? We can look later in this episode to see what would have happened if you didn't sell out at these levels. You'd be down 40% from that top right now if you didn't sell at the right time. Here's another one. It was up 62% for Link at this time, from our buy signal to this exit signal here. So I think you probably agree that getting your entry signals is one part of the stream, but the other part is to get your exit signals. And so I don't want to get my big cryptocurrency fame from bullish times when everything is going up and it's a bottom formation. I'd rather you know me as the guy who is telling you when to get out of these markets at the right time. And the way I'm able to do that is with our Bull Market Watch spreadsheet. You can learn more about that over on the website, intro-to-cryptos.ca, and I'll explain more later in the episode how we are able to tell when it was time to get out of the alts in the last 2 weeks of September and moved most of our portfolio from alts into Bitcoin. And we'll see soon if it's just the right time to have done it, or if perhaps it was the wrong time to have done it and we should have stayed in alts. That's the purpose of this stream. We're going to go over all the details. So No Jack Low Jack says, you become like me, a bag holder. I have been there, and this is why I'm doing this live stream. It's why I put together I got to go to a different chart. It's why I put together this Bull Market Watch spreadsheet that I'll show you a little bit later, because I too was a bag holder. I was a professional bag holder all the way through this whole period here. Every time, what are we looking at here? Every time Bitcoin was making sort of a top formation and the alts were making sort of a bottom formation, I was always looking for the bottom formation. And of course, in hindsight, we can see that it's kind of silly when the exponential moving averages are in a sell state. They're in a downward trend. They haven't changed the trend yet. So to be looking for a bottom formation before those have changed the trend is the biggest difficulty. Knowing when to get out is really important. And I hope that through this live stream, you're going to get to a sense of when to be getting out of these trades. And if you want help with that, I think the best value I can give you is our Bull Market Watch spreadsheet. I want to go back to September of 2017 specifically. It was after the big run up. Everything went crazy up. So I'm out of order here for the content, but I'm going to stick with going off order here for a bit. September 2017. This is a really specific spot here. Many of the alts were making bottom formations. Bitcoin was making a top formation. And this spot right here really looked like Bitcoin was going to top out. Alts were going to be taking off from here. This is our bottom formation. But in September, there was a big crash down right here this day. Many alts went down at the same time as Bitcoin went down. The alts also took a huge crash that day. And I want to reflect on that because at this time, I believed Bitcoin was in a top formation and was going to be coming down from here, and that the alts were going to be coming up. And so I was really holding on to my alts and I was really investing into them big time. But look at the exponential moving averages here. We are still in a major bear cycle for the alts. And I'm blind to it at the time. I was rewatching some of my old videos. And as you know, alts had lots of room to go down from there as Bitcoin was going up and up and up until we went into December. So there was a lot of time after this low in September that I held on to alts at this time back in 2017. And if I had have switched out at the right time and put on a 2-to-1 leverage trade on Bitcoin, I would have changed my financial future entirely from this one mistake at this one time. And so I've really put an enormous amount of effort into putting together our bull market watch spreadsheet, because this is the answer for me. And I'm going to show you a little bit later how this told us to be getting out of the alts right now. And we're going to see whether or not that was a good idea as time moves along here. So the purpose of this live stream is to go through ADA, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tron, and Ripple, because these are the coins that are traded with margin over on BitMEX. And so in the long term, we're looking for long positions and short positions. For my own part, I'm not actually hunting for a short position, even though these could go lower. I'm still watching for a buy signal, even though I'm telling you right now they could go lower, and we have the sell signals in these markets. I am not actually going short in them. I am looking for the potential to be going long in them as soon as they finish their bottom formation, whenever that is. And so the hunt is on. And we're watching for, what are we looking for in the relative strength index? Breaks of trend lines. If you break a trend line top or bottom, I want to know, especially since we are inside a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, kind of a parallel channel, a bear flag. And with Bitcoin getting ready to go up in the background here, I want to pay attention to the lesson I learned in September of 2017 and just be aware of it and be tracking this out better than I did before, using different data like we have here with the Bitcoin dominance. So if Bitcoin dominance continues to drop from here and break these key levels, that changes my analysis, that changes my anticipation completely. I am anticipating right now that the alts are going to drop, Bitcoin is going to rise, Bitcoin dominance is going to rise, and this is the measure of it. So then the mission then here today and every day is to go through these indicators to verify what we're actually seeing. There's the hypothesis, it's the scientific theory. Now we're going to go in and prove it out or not. So let's go on to ADA in the unbalanced volume. Let me zoom out to the 1 hour time frame for our reference here. What I'm looking for here as Bitcoin is gearing up to be taking off in the background right there, I'm looking to see what's going on with the alts, because we had a big smackdown here just like we had on April the 1st, and I didn't pay attention to it enough on April the 1st. Now I'm maybe paying too much attention, so I'm going to study the daylights out of it to be sure that I'm going to watch for this volume to pick up or go somewhere. And if we're dropping below these levels, okay, that's confirming my suspicion. Let's go on to the next indicator for ADA. I've got way too many things loaded up on my computer. This is the MACD. And what I'm watching for here on the 4 hour time frame is for this to have crossed to the positive as we have. So that indicator is telling me to watch for this to go up out of here. And if this is going up as Bitcoin is going up and Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that's the dream for the altcoin holders. So I really want to know. I want to know from day to day exactly what the change is. And I don't want it to get by me by looking at one coin specifically. I want to know by averaging out across all of the coins so that I really am seeing the bull market and which ones are taking off first in the bull market. Pardon me, I muted the looping music. Each time I set this up, the mute button's in a different spot. Pardon me. All right, let's continue on. ADA, Ichimoku Cloud, 4 hour time frame. Looking for, do we have a buy or a sell signal? It's a little bit of a buy signal shaping up here. So long as the blue line gets above the red line, hard to see here. but the blue line is still below the red line. And that has to cross above, and it will. If this price goes above these levels and starts to moon, and we start to get some volume come into that with our on-balance volume indicator, that's going to happen. We will see it. Now let's go to ADA, and I've got a different chart set up here. I've been, as you know, if you've been watching for the last little while, I've been studying the Bollinger Bands. And with the help of the guys in our Discord chat, I've been putting together, melding together the 1, 2, 3 formation, the MACD indicator, and the Bollinger Band crosses, coordinating the different time frame from 12-hour and 4-hour, and watching for the positive crosses. Because look at this positive cross here on the 4-hour, and a positive cross here just starting out on the 12-hour, as we're making a 1, 2, 3 formation coming up to the midline. It's the start of something, perhaps. And so if we can see the start of it, oh, that is a little bit to the negative. Actually, it hasn't crossed to the positive here yet. But out of this 1, 2, 3, if it is starting to break higher than these levels, we've got quite a few indicators now actually that are giving us some bullish divergences here. I didn't see it as strongly in the relative strength index. It was more of a triangle. So let's check that out as the time goes by. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning and start out looking at, give it to me, BCHABC. Let me check the chat. Did I check out the chart for link? No, I haven't. But if you guys have a request, put it in the chat now, and I will do your request in order of sequence. Now, let me zip through this. You know the premise that I'm looking for. You know the 1, 2, 3 formation. And now we're just looking for confirmation of these sell signals. And then in a bit, I'm going to pull up that bull market watch spreadsheet, and I'll show you what I want to be famous for actually right now isn't the bullish times I talked about in 2017 and how I made the money back there. That's fine. That's yesterday. What I want to be famous for is talking about selling the alts at the right time right now. Because if you get this wrong, it's going to cost you money. And if you get it right, you're going to make tons of money. And I know because I got my ass handed to me from not knowing even know what to look for. At that time, I wasn't watching Bitcoin dominance. Now, of course, we watch it every day and we compare it against all of the alts, and we've stripped it down into a spreadsheet that gives us even more data. I really pulled that apart because it got past me last time and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Crazy numbers to say. So, on balance volume is easing off a little bit here, just to observe what it's doing. I had to pull it back a little bit to take a look. Now let's go on. I got to close some other stuff that's going on here. Make sure I'm not closing what I need. That's for later. I have that spreadsheet I need. Let's go on. ADA, looking good. Now I've got to go to BCHABC on the MACD indicator. That's sure crossed to the negative. I got to go back to ADA. We didn't cross to the negative like that here. But having another one that crossed to the negative so hard, that's a real kick right there. Boof. Let's continue on with Bitcoin Cash and check out the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour time frame coming to a cross to the negative. This has a lot of room to go sideways, and then it will be a buy signal in the Ichimoku uptrend, so long as it stays on this side of the cloud. Let's see what goes on. And Bitcoin Cash with the combined chart here now. Really, this is really pretty cool actually. Got this 1, 2, 3 top formation going on here at like a really nice divergence, and I'm certain we were looking at that the last few days. That's the kind of thing we look for. And then to see this crossing over here while we're breaking these levels, pretty awesome. Not for holders, but now I want to see, does this thing cross? Does it hold? Does it make itself a little 1, 2, 3 formation here right above the support and resistance? These are the next questions here as we're going along. Let's jump in. Did I skip something? No. Anyway, here while we're here, this is Bitcoin price, the two identical charts. And this is Bitcoin longs and Bitcoin shorts. So as we're going sideways here in this period of time, we could see last Friday, as the prices are going up, the longs are going down, which still I don't get it. Then as we're going sideways here, everybody's getting pumped and lots of longs building up. Then all of a sudden the marketing changes, the news on the internet changes, and everybody's all of a sudden seeing all this bearish stuff on Twitter and wherever, all these, and now everybody's closing their longs, and we're down to record like low level of longs as we're building up out of this formation, and all of a sudden the sentiment switches again. Pretty amazing stuff. We'll watch this over the days as well. Now I want to go back to BCH ABC. We will definitely go through Litecoin. We'll get into Holochain. We'll do Neo. I want to do Zilla because that one's confusing me. I will do MDA and MTL because MDA we did that big alert on, and we kicked butt on this and got out at the right time. It was really nice to publish that and have that come out. EOS. Okay, so this was a request in our Discord chat earlier, and it is looking like a 1, 2, 3 formation. It is starting to poke its head above it. We do have a nice setup in the RSI supporting it. Let's go through and see what the rest of them say, because I definitely want to know if this is the beginning of alt season. I don't want to miss it by being all the wrong way. And how do I know if if it's bull season or not? The bull market watch spreadsheet, on average, it's going to show us that the whole market is going, and it's going to narrow it down to which ones are going. So far, we're still watching this, and I'm not as excited as I want to be on it because of this selling volume. It's got to pick up to buying, and sure enough, if this goes along, it likely will. So the more coins that are breaking out of this kind of formation right now, the more important it is. A few of them doing it, okay, it doesn't matter. They may get hammered back in no time. But if there are more of them doing it, see, that's them getting hammered back. If there are more of them crossing to the positive like this, where we've got a cross to the positive and another cross to the positive, this is really good. What is time frame? 4-hour time frame? Let's go to the 12-hour time frame and see that it's been building a more of a bull shape in this. So it gives me more confidence in this picking up. I don't know what the Ichimoku cloud is telling us for EOS. But that is good. It's crossed, it's poking up above the cloud. We've got a twist to the positive. We just don't have the blue line above the red. The conversion line is not above the baseline yet. But this is making all the formations. This is making all the patterns. And it's also the most dangerous time of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, that entry. So let's track it. Let's watch to see what's going on. This is the combined chart now with Bollinger Bands. Looking good right up along the edge of the Bollinger Band on the 1-hour time frame. It did a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, crossed the midline, crossed positive. When we're mixing all of these indicators, we have a larger nested 1, 2, 3 setting up here. The thing to watch for now is if you are considering a position at this time, then you have to know in advance when you're going to abort the takeoff on this new trade. So if you were to be a pilot taking off down the runway, you've probably practiced all of the procedures of shutting the plane down and aborting the takeoff early before you started practicing going down the runway, right? You practice all those things. So as soon as you're thinking of putting on a trade, you have to think your way through what will happen if this doesn't work. Exactly when am I going to get out and why? What am I going to see in the chart, right? This is going to cross to the negative. This is going to stall. We're going to start to see on balance selling coming in, and I'm just going to get out of my position. I'm just not going to hold it because everything's looking sketchy with Bitcoin dominance where it is. So if Bitcoin dominance is rising and we have a good looking altcoin bottom formation, I am skeptical. I have been there before and it wasn't nice. And that's why I want you to remember me saying that we should be selling the alts at the right time. And in a few minutes, we'll get to that altcoin spreadsheet. My goodness, I have to reboot my computer. EOS is looking good. It's proving itself out as we're going. So what's going on with Ethereum? Because as you can see here on this chart, I'm going to zoom in and zoom in again. That's too much. Oh, we were anticipating this is going to be the pissing off the roof formation, and it's bounced off of that. Right now, as we're watching, let me clear that off and get a trend line. So we have part of the trading plan starting to shape up. That is a break of the downtrend line. We have a tiny little 1, 2, 3 formation here, but that's not big enough for me normally, right? If you're a day trader and you recognize it and you're in there and you know in advance that you're watching for this RSI to break and you see it going as this is happening, you could take that action. You could take that trade. It does work in any time frame when you put all these things together, but you got to be there to make that decision. So now Ethereum, let's zoom into the on balance volume because it's not really picking up here on the 12-hour time frame yet. On the 4-hour, still not so good. Zooming in here, we got a little bit of volume coming up, but that's not enough to get too excited about. Broke that trend line on this time frame, but the thing I had the arrows pointing to earlier before I cleared it was this time right there. That time right there, there seemed to have been a shift in all of the coins. And what is that, 12 o'clock on the 29th? Right at that spot. Let's continue on now. Ethereum against the MACD indicator. 4-hour time frame, it's crossed to the positive, looking like it's going to cross to the positive again here, which would be a very bullish setup. Not full yet, right? I want to see the 1, 2, 3 formation. I want to see a breakout. I'm nervous about them. I just want to observe them because of dominance and what it's doing here. I really want to be skeptical and aware at the same time. So if this is crossing positive and we are getting that breakout we saw in the small time frame, there are action points that you could be considering. So let's look at the Ichimoku cloud. There's the 4-hour time frame, not giving us a buy signal for sure. It's underneath the cloud. This would be a sell signal in the downtrend. 1-hour time frame, still not through the cloud, not giving us a buy signal at all like we saw in the other coins. Really cool to get this difference recorded because this is still in a sell signal state. It is below the cloud. The blue line is crossed below the red. We have a twist to the red. The yellow or the trailing indicator here is just starting to cross through things now. And so if it builds above these levels, the Ichimoku is going to still give us delays. It's going to make us wait. So I'm happy to wait a little bit on this one. Now let's go over to, okay, I see Smoke and Altcoins has shared that link, which is awesome. That is a link for saving 20% off of these alerts. If knowing when to get out of Link would have been handy to you, if knowing when to get into MDA and when to get out would have been handy to you, check this out. Where am I going now? We didn't do Ethereum here. So let's go and Ethereum, and we're looking at the combination chart for, did the chart just crap out on me? No, good. Ethereum, crossing to the positive, crossing to the positive. Here we are in the 4-hour time frame. So right as it came down to this 4-hour band, it's in hindsight turning out to also be a buy signal. Now that this is starting to cross to the positive is important. I want to go into the 1-hour time frame to see if I was wanting to see that this was crossing to the positive earlier. Let me clean this up because we had a cross to the positive and now it's crossing to the positive through these two bottoms, while on the 4-hour, this is the most important thing for me, while on the 4-hour chart, the Bollinger Band was saying, pick this up. More studies for future analysis. One of the things that I'm watching for, though, is that the Bollinger Band matches up on the 12-hour and the 4-hour time frame. So this might have been a better one for me, but now that it's come back and it has not reached to the bottom and the 4-hour has, I don't know. I'm just watching now to see how do I put these together so that I can make more informed choices when I do trade this pattern. So that's Ethereum, Litecoin, Tron, and Ripple. Let's go to Litecoin. What else can I close here? This I can close. I think I got too many things loaded up in my live stream software. Actually, I'll have to simplify that down. Litecoin has pulled back, and you can see the difference here. If I could just clear this off and drag this around a little bit, you can see the difference where Litecoin and Bitcoin start to break apart. Auto. And this is what I was talking about earlier with Ethereum, is that there was a specific time that we could see in the charts that was really important. This split right here, this right here was really important in that I thought in the beginning, look at this, Litecoin's going with Bitcoin. It's roughly going with Bitcoin. Now it is not going with Bitcoin. Now it is not going with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is going up and Litecoin is going down at the same time. So Bitcoin dominance is increasing through that period. And we can see it by having the charts overlaid this way. So what does that mean for relative strength index? Let's go on to RSI, go back to auto. So far, it's making the stages that it could be better. Like it could be bull stages because we've got the higher lows setting up here, and it's making a little boot, basically a little foot type of shape right there. So long as it keeps that and continues to build up higher while we're going up it, I would have to see Bitcoin dominance dropping at the same time for me to gain confidence in that. So let me go to Litecoin and see what volume we've got going in here. This is quite a bit different, and that's quite a bit better. I really like this pattern of volume picking up slowly here as we're going along. That's pretty cool that we have the on balance positive volume. This is a different pattern than we've seen in the other coins. That's the 1 hour time frame. That's probably why. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Okay, a lot of dumping and less dumping, but you can see on that 1 hour time frame, this is actually a pretty steady trickle of buying for Litecoin. And that matches my long-term belief that Litecoin in the next 18 months, as we go through this bull phase, it's going to reach $800 to $1,000 each. Right now, the MACD is crossed to the negative, a little bit less good than the other ones that we were looking at earlier. Let's go on to Litecoin. And the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour time frame also negative and pulling back. So again, this is what I want to emphasize, is that I think Bitcoin is going to be taking off. Bitcoin dominance is going to rise. Alts are going to get crushed. And I want to document it. And here we have a cross to the negative. If this crosses past the midline and we have that cross back to the positive, then all of the alts are probably reversing, and I just want to be here to document it so I know exactly when it is, and then we can put it into the spreadsheet. We've got a couple more to do, and then I'll do your requests. What else can I close? I need that. That's Bitcoin dominance. This one we've already looked at, so I can close it. This is probably taking up a lot of juice too. This is the 20-second bars. Not the 1 minute bars, this is the 20-second bars. And it also shows the liquidations in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is making strong, fast moves, I like to bring this up so I can take a look at what's going on with liquidations. If we see something going big, we'll jump into it. Tron. So this has been on an uptrend, and yet the RSI is pulling back. The other day we were looking at this as a bear flag because many of the other coins had made a similar bear flag but from a lower state, and this is pulled back. The RSI was diverging here, it has pulled back, but we have the bamboo effect here, that it's pulled back now. The RSI has pulled back, it's given itself right back to historical levels. It's a beautiful place for it to make a bottom formation and jump up from here, but only if Bitcoin dominance is falling at the same time. So if Bitcoin is rising and Bitcoin dominance is falling, Tron is probably not going to stay where that is right there. And here's a good, good to capture this. Lots of buying volume on the way up here, and then it stopped. And look at the time exactly when that is. Let's zoom in to the 15-minute chart, pull back a little bit so I can see. This is exactly the same time, exactly the same place that we had that break, and things seem to have changed right from there. So below this, earlier we had buying, 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 click. The board meeting is finished, time for selling. If the whales have board meetings. Let's go on to Tron in the Ichimoku cloud and take a look. No, this is the MACD indicator. Let's go take a look at the Tron in the Ichimoku cloud. Yesterday we saw that this was below the cloud on the 1 hour time frame and wondering if it was going to be coming back up, because touching this and coming down, of course, is the sell signal in the Ichimoku cloud. On the 4 hour time frame, I'm not sure if we had this cross yesterday. That's a bearish cross here with the blue line below the red. So it's got room to go sideways now before we go up. It could come down into this cloud and then go up on the 4 hour time frame, and we'll just watch this over time. But right now, with the 1 hour being below the cloud and the 4 hour having a little bit of negative going on there, it's not a bull setup. I want to take a look at Tron with the Bollinger Bands on the 4 hour time frame. And what I'm looking at here is the chance that on the 4 hour time frame, this is against the bottom of the band and we're having this cross to the positive. If this is on the bottom of the band and starts to show a bit of strength and this crosses to the positive, I want to err on the side of thinking this is going to bounce off of this really nice support level and go higher. But I really want to see those criteria match up. How about the 12 hour? Oh, wow. So when I was just talking about the 12 hour and the 4 hour matching up, this is the kind of moment I'm watching for. Not for the 12 hour to be coming to the midline and the 4 hour coming to it doesn't seem to match up as well. So I'll bet you we could see that the 4 hour was right on the bottom of its trend line or band. So here, yeah, the 4 hour was at the bottom of the band a couple times right at that spot. And it wasn't a good time to be buying. So I'm not as excited about this one and love to study it. So we got Bitcoin going up a little tick there. Let's go on to doom. Come on, monitor. Let's bring this up. This is because my computer memory is being overtaxed right now. Ripple. Also, top formation, RSI easing off. If the RSI breaks down below these levels, softening off. If it breaks this trend line, then it's going to be much the same as the others. We're watching for this RSI trend line to break. In addition, I don't want to take on a position in this now until the 4 hour EMA crosses. Now that it has crossed to the negative, this is an indicator for me to take off at least half of my position. And if I go to the 12 hour time frame, there is the indicator to take off the other half of my position. I am out. Even if I had the most wonderful entry, even if I caught this very bottom, which I never would, then I would be out of this trade because the 4 hour and the 12 hour exponential moving averages have crossed. Done. We'll come back and visit this later to see how correct that was. But in the meantime, let's go and take a look at the volume going on. So nice here. Beautiful 1, 2, 3 top formation. Definitely was calling for a top here, right here. It took a couple more days for it to come up and down we went. Down we went. We'll take a look at the spreadsheet in a second. I know I'm holding on to that spreadsheet till the end because it's so wicked. I'm going to show you inside the spreadsheet, which I normally don't do on the live stream. I'm going to show you inside because I know the value is going to be what you're going to see in this. If you've gone through all the stream all the way along here and you haven't yet become a member of the Bull Market Watch subscription, this should convince you. Here we are with Ripple crossing over to the negative. I want to go into Ripple and take a look at the 4 hour time frame below the cloud. And twisting more to the negative right there. So nothing good for the 12 hour time frame. We are still crossed to the negative. On the blue below the red, we have a twist to the negative. So my 12 hour EMA is stepping up awesome. And you know what? If you were to get out of this trade and put your money into Bitcoin and the next phases happen and you don't end up losing 40% of your money, but instead your money goes up by 200% with Bitcoin, then we're living through 2017 the right way instead of the way I did. And it's because of this study. It's because of the mistake I made that I studied this hard to be sure that I'm not going to make the same mistake again. At least I'll only make a cousin of that mistake and not the exact same mistake. So here we're crossing to the negative. We're at the bottom of the 4 hour band. And I want to watch now. Is the band going to widen as this is dropping down? If that's the case, then Bitcoin is probably taking off in the background, and we'll see Bitcoin dominance turn around and break these levels and go higher. If Bitcoin dominance is going higher, the alts are in trouble. This is the measure of the alts trouble. Now, I didn't have a... Let me go through the list here. So, Mick, let's go over Neo. Oh, we got to do... Wait a second. Link, first of all. So get rid of my favorites. Scroll, 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 scroll. Link is 4 scrolls down. I want to say this is a buy signal. You know, the first thing I look at here is that we're in this uptrend. It's building another 1, 2, 3 formation that is going to be the trend continuation formation. And maybe you would agree with me in the relative strength index is giving us some good stuff going on here. The 12-hour EMA has not crossed to the negative yet, and we could be setting up for something right in here. And if we are not, a break of this RSI coming to the downside a little bit, even before we've broken these levels, would make me really hesitant on this position. So if I'm zooming in on Link, and this looks good, I like it. It's the 1, 2, 3 formation that is building up. If it breaks above these levels, it's good. But you know, it's got these exhaustion wicks at the top here. Bitcoin is making this doodle going on. And when Bitcoin did wake up, this crapped its pants from a high level down. No question about it. So I think that this is a gong that Bitcoin has rung for us. It has told us what is coming. Many people may be in denial, and maybe it's me. But if this 1, 2, 3 breaks higher, I don't deny it after that. I changed and I just put on a small bit of my position on this. I listened to it. But right now, everything, I'm trying not to get too over bullish on this. I want to go to Link in this chart, which I've come to favor. I'm going to do a special on this combination of indicators that I've put together for this. A special report. And as this is crossing to the positive on the 12-hour time frame, I'm bullish right away. I could be wrong, but as this is making this trend line and starting to break, it makes me want to be bullish. Let's go to the daily time frame. Okay, good. This saves me a little bit. It's not bullish. We are at the bottom of the band here. We are still crossed way to the negative. On the weekly view, we are still positive. But we have these big 2 sets of exhaustion candles at a double top. Okay. This is easing off. It's not easing off yet. The histograms are still strong. Let's zoom in. Double top here with a strong negative bias that was a sell signal for us earlier. It's one of the reasons that we were calling for top formation in this. Now it's pulled back and has given this consolidation. It hasn't crossed enough yet. I would like that cross to have happened right here. And we're on the 12-hour time frame. It's not against the bottom of the band. Let's zoom in. So the 4-hour, it's not against the bottom of the band either, but is actually crossed above. If this crosses negative and we're crossing the middle of the band, now I know this is suffering as Bitcoin is showing strength. As Bitcoin dominance is going up and that is crossing, and I got to go back. This is it. For me, when I zoom in more, then I'm not getting as clear. But for here, right now, if this crosses to the negative, we know what's going on. And then if it's breaking out of this 1, 2, 3, then we don't have to think about it. That answers the question as well. So there are 2 different points there in the Link chart with these indicators that we can point to. The Bollinger Band's midline, this crossing to the negative, and it breaks this double 1, 2, 3 top at important significant levels while we're making weekly double top with exhaustion wicks on both sides. Going down, and I don't want it to. TV, can I explain to you what we get for the bull market watch? Let's go to the bull market watch, because this is it. This is what I want to be made famous for, is telling you when to get out of the alts. This may look confusing, and for the first little bit it is, until you understand the color coding. If we were to take Bitcoin dominance and split it into a prism so that, you know, overall this tells us altcoins have topped out. They were coming up a little bit, and now with all this mess in the chart, it's hard to see. But because we had the big gong with Bitcoin prices right here, and this was the trend afterwards, I'm watching now for the altcoins to be going up. So what I want to do is to know which of the altcoins are going up and which ones are going flat. Which are the ones I should be buying into out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So I wanted to do it in a simple way, and I created this color coding, and it started up in the live streams about a year ago, and it evolved into the spreadsheet that it is now. So as a Bull Market Watch spreadsheet subscriber, you would be able to log into this page. You could scroll down and you would see that we have 7 alerts on Poloniex today, 23 alerts on Binance, and you can see exactly which coins are in alert status. Now it's easy for you to go over to the charts and just do your research on these. Why are they alert? You will get to know because you get the trading plan along with the membership. You get to know the 1, 2, 3, you get the entire trading plan and the 5 stages of a trade webinar, plus the book that goes along with it. And so you'll understand what these mean when it's in alert status and what the difference is between when it's in hold status. So every day you can log in here and you'll quickly see which ones are exit. You get an email every day of this little section right here for right now. As we get more people joining up and supporting the development of this, I'm going to pay a spreadsheet professional to make this into a really wicked homepage for us that emails us this report every day. Done. So the main engine of the Bull Market Watch are these 2 spreadsheets at the end. And this is where the gold is. So you can see here that in August until the very beginning of September, everything was pretty crappy. These are all bearish colors. Orange and red are fails or near fails. They're almost going down to new lows, or they are making brand new lows, the lowest they've been in a while. Then they're almost at going to lows. They're neutral in between the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And then you can start seeing here on September 18th and 19th which coins were turning into alert status. We can actually see that the next day we had a couple more coins turn into hold status. Then the next day we could see there was a couple more coins turned into hold status. And as times went along, you can see that those ran out of their hold status quota. And as their 4-hour exponential moving average crossed over, we knew it. We said there is an exit. So part of the trade should have been closed on RDN on that day. And then we're also studying what would happen if you stayed in it till the 12-hour exponential moving average crossover. What would happen if you got in here with part of your trade and you got out of half of your trade here and got out of half of your trade here? What would that do for your profits over the long run? You know, then we can do some back testing on this. But you can see here that all the way through the end of October, we were getting exit signals. We were already moving our way into Bitcoin. And so the big kicker is now what goes on with Bitcoin prices. Because if we have already moved out of all of our altcoins properly at the right time, and we are all in Bitcoin at the right time, then personally, I'm not making the same mistake that I did in 2017. It literally cost me $500,000. Probably more. If I would have done a 2-to-1 leverage trade on the Bitcoin, it would have been $1 million, $1 million mistake. Ifs and ands were pots and pans. That's why I'm doing $1 million worth of studying so that I know exactly when to get in and when to get out. And so that I average and I just get into the coins that tell me to, and I don't do anything with the ones that are getting close but don't go up anywhere. We just don't even touch them. You don't spend a minute on them. They didn't do anything. So we're getting into the ones that are looking good and we get out when they tell us to. The great thing is that it is so methodical and so repeatable that you can learn this. As we go back to the very beginning, we can see that this is updated by AOL Chandra, who lives in India, who took my course 2 years ago, and now she has graduated up to taking over part of the spreadsheets every day. So you can learn this. I go through her grading of the markets, and we're 98%, 96% the same. We see the same trading plans in this. That's as mechanical as you can get. And so the benefit is that you have us working for you. You can log in here and see what's happening. You can see the details. You get access to all of this. And I've made a couple filters in here so you can see which ones are on alert status, and you can scroll down and see which days which things were on alert status, which is pretty cool actually, because you can really see which days we were dropping out of alert status, when we were holding things, when we should have gotten out of them. You can see the bull market building up and easing off, building up again in another wave here, September the 17th, 18th, 19th. So all of this data is gold. This is money in your pocket. And the reason I share it with you is because I get the maximum benefit, because I get thousands of people over the years. Literally, I've had hundreds of people asking me questions about the trading plan. So even without massive popularity with this YouTube channel and no worldwide fame, the accuracy of the trading plan over the last 4 years is what should be making famous, not me. The trading plan should be. I've had the great honor of teaching thousands of students, and for me the best payback of all time is everybody asking me questions about this trading plan. So what started out as a hobby for me to help other people do the most and micro trade with cryptocurrencies and with Bitcoin, through years of clarifying every stage and every option of the trading plan after writing books about it and the trading plan and teaching the course, doing hundreds of these videos, the accuracy of this approach is super clear, especially now that we have it in a spreadsheet. There's just no question of how well this works and when it works. It's right there, and I just love it. And so it is available that you can come and subscribe. There is the advanced alerts, which is a lot more detailed because I take care of a lot more work for you for the advanced alerts. Or you can check out the bull market watch itself, which is just a color-coded spreadsheet. So if you want to have help to build your cryptocurrency portfolio, knowing when to get in, when to hold, when to exit, the bull market watch spreadsheet is the thing for you. And it's $15 a month. It's crazy. You get $15 a month by paying for 3 months using cryptocurrencies. If you want the pro alerts, there's a lot more detail to that. Head over to that page. There's a video that describes the difference between the bull market watch and the pro alerts. And if you're trading actively and regularly, you will see how much work this saves you. It's crazy. So now, clocks changed. I didn't notice that the clocks changed. I probably would have went to yoga at the wrong time. Dean H, awesome. Can I add my own coins that I want to follow? Yes, but you have to follow them. We don't do them. We do everything on Binance and everything on Poloniex in that spreadsheet, and that's as far as it gets. And I don't follow the other markets in other exchanges as well for the pro alerts. That's just for Poloniex and for Binance. So 200 markets a day is sometimes crazy. When the markets start moving, sometimes there's 15, I'd say 3 or 4 minutes work to do on every single market. 3 or 4 minutes times 200 markets, it comes out to about 16 hours worth of work some days to update the spreadsheet. It's crazy. And I got to do it for myself, so why not make available for you guys as well? It doesn't reduce how much I can make by you guys benefiting from it. But if it's valuable to you, then it's worth paying for. A good servant is worth their hire. System is solid for identifying the trends concerning Bitcoin and altcoins. It is. So every coin on Binance and Poloniex. Yep, Mick, thank you. Can I check the MACD on ONT coin? Sure. ICX, ZIL. Oh, I'll probably miss them back further. Yes. Holochain, I've got to go back. I got Neo first. Let's not get out of order. I'm going to close these other charts and see if I can speed this up a little bit. I'm going to close Bitcoin dominance. It's actually weakening off here. I definitely want to pay attention to that. And if you are interested in watching that as time goes along, this live stream will end soon, but you can come and join us over on our Discord chat, and we are talking about this throughout the day and night. We got people from around the world there. Let's go to Neo now. Neo. Okay, Neo woke up on the 1 weekly view. It's got a 1 week candle that's looking pretty good. If I zoom in to the 12-hour view, it has done a big breakout, and then it's crossed to the negative here on the 12-hour MACD. And if Bitcoin dominance is going up, then this, okay, it crossed negative on the 12-hour MACD, but that's not necessarily, it is not good, but this could save it because it's come back far enough that it could now cross to the positive as we're breaking above these levels. And on the 4-hour, this did not come all the way back to the bottom of the band. So I'm not sure about a buy signal right now or an add-on signal right now on this. It's not giving me the things I'm looking for. As we start getting into this, it's very narrow. So the great thing about if you are considering adding on here, it is showing strength. We are crossing to the positive. It's a very narrow band. And so you could be starting off, with a position here and very small range, if you're right or wrong. You could put a limit order in right now just below the price and sneak it up close underneath the price so that you and as it comes back a little bit, you get tagged in with no fees. And I hope that tip saves you a bunch of trading fees. Using your limit order to sneak up behind the market, get tagged in so you get paid taker fees. No, you get paid maker fees instead of paying taker fees. Then you're in and you could decide, if you're not correct within about a half an hour to an hour, you should probably close the position. Don't wait for it to come back and stop you out. And I don't know. It hasn't. I'm more skeptical about it mostly because of the Bitcoin dominance and what I think Bitcoin is going to do. So this did come back to the 50% level. It did make a 1, 2, 3. On strength from this, it is an official rule that it is an add-on signal. And I would have to just play by the rules. And I do. A lot of times I go, I don't think so, but it says to, so I just do it. I do it small, and then I can get the benefit out of it. But while this is crossing to the negative here, that kind of pulls the rug out from underneath me right there. And we'll have to check that out. Thank you for asking about that because I want to know the answer to this. I want to know, since we're right at this technical level and crossing over to the negative here, probably going to pull back a little bit. So let me go back to Holochain now. Holochain, hot, right? Okay, I'm done looking at that one. It's not built up enough. We haven't crossed to the positive yet. It's gone sideways so much that I could salt a few bucks into it and just forget about it. It's not setting up. I don't think the trade volume in this is great enough right now to really drive the price yet. So it would just be a long-term hold buy. And what I would do is I would call it a popcorn trade order. So I would put $5 into that, and I would put $1, $2, $3, $4 up for sell signals, just like that. Instead of having a stop loss below the market, I would have stop losses above the market, and I'd be done with this for a year. I wouldn't even look back at it again. Because if it does come up and touch any of these, I've made some great profits percentage-wise, and I can reinvest that. I don't have to spend any time. And Holochain. Please check the chart. So we did Litecoin, and now we've got Zilla to do, and that was in our Discord chat earlier too. I was super excited about this one a long time ago, and bought into some of it, and of course it didn't turn out well. It's made a little move earlier, and on the 12-hour, it's crossed to the positive here. Let's zoom in. So this is crossed to the positive, but seems to be losing a bit of momentum on the 4-hour. The 1-hour has lost the momentum, is actually crossed negative. And back to the zoom in now. So if I go back out to the 12-hour time frame and look at this, what's the other chart? Let's go to this chart. Clear this off, scroll down. And go to ZIL, clear, zip down. For my own trading methodology that I teach as the simple trading plan, we're looking for a break of the downtrend line, a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So wherever the lowest price is, then we're looking for the 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for the exponential moving average crossover on the 12-hour time frame. So we have 2 of the 3 criteria now in place, but not the third one. And so I would only mark this as an alert in the spreadsheet, and it wouldn't be marked as a hold. And so if we go to the spreadsheet and we go over to Binance and we go back to ZIL, it is marked as an alert. And I didn't mark this. This is AOL Chandra did this. So it's phenomenal to have a specific example like that, tell you what it's going to be, go over and see it. So then you really know you're getting consistent approach to trading, and 2 people reviewing it too. That was cool. MDA and MTL. MDA. So MDA was a really, really great buy signal in our alerts package because we caught it right here. I'll zoom in again. We caught it right here. This is where the alert was put out. So as soon as it was breaking above this, we caught it. As it was making the top formation here, I marked it as our profit spot. And now, if you had not gotten out, if you had known that, you would have made this phenomenal profit. What was that again? Scroll to the top. Let's go to the Pro Alert Signals. And MDA was just one of the examples that we did here. And it was 112% on that trade. So if you had taken the entry and the exit, you would have done 112%. If now I go click on this and hold shift, you would not have gotten out at that spot. You would now be down 45% from the top. So knowing when to get in and when to get out is so critical. It's such an important part of the trade. And so with the basics, well, let me try to clear this off. With the basics, we're looking for the 2 different ways to exit. There is the cross of the 4-hour EMA and the cross of the 12-hour EMA. And you can see where this one would have gotten us out later than the top formation that we did for the Pro Alerts, just for the color-coded spreadsheet. MTL. So anyway, this one, if I'm looking at it now and I look at the indicators, and let's go to MDA. That's actually crossing to the positive here on the 12-hour time frame. It's brushing against the bottom of the band. I would want it to cross the midline for some reason. Even though this is crossing here, it's not enough of a 1, 2, 3 formation for me yet. Let's watch and see what this does, because the cross to the positive doesn't necessarily mean that prices are going up. So that we've crossed to the positive here is good, but not necessarily the thing. I want to have the 1, 2, 3 formation. I want to have the 4-hour EMA crossover to the positive as well. So when I'm zooming into the 4-hour time frame, this did cross to the positive a long time ago, but it's nothing convincing for me in that this might be an add-on signal or a buy signal from here. It looks like we've already done the top and it's going to be pulling back more from this. So let's go to, what was the next one? MTL. So I'm really keen to see the results of these, because we are getting a number of coins giving us the cross to the positive here on the 12-hour time frame. And that is the beginning of these higher lows building up and a bit of a channel building here. It's not a nice 1, 2, 3 here, but breaks above something like this would still constitute a similar strategy to the 1, 2, 3 with the crossover going on here, and that the 12-hour bounced off of these levels. Let's go in now to the 4-hour and see. It did get over the band in the 4-hour time frame, and as that crossed to the positive in the 4-hour crossed the midline, and it has stayed above the midline since then. Should it cross below the midline, of course that's telling us that okay, this has failed off and it's easing. and I expect that it's going to ease off. I do expect that it's going to ease off, and Bitcoin dominance chart now is closed, so we can't see that, but we're getting a little bit more spikes going on in Bitcoin right now as we're speaking. This chart will show us Bitcoin in the background. So as Bitcoin is zooming up, and I can go into the 5-minute bar here on this chart and see what Bitcoin is doing in the background, this kind of divergence is another thing that I've always put in the background of the charts because of the expense of the mistake I've made in my trading. And I don't want to ever forget what Bitcoin is doing while I'm looking at the alts, because I was not watching what Bitcoin was doing when I was looking at my alts. I wasn't looking at it properly in the past. So I hope that all of this stuff here is going to help you guys as well. Let me scroll through here. European time, ICX, ZIL, and THX. Let's go to ICX right here. Oh, all right. Here's the panic. Here's the first of it. Now, if we pull this back just a minute, doesn't that look like a whole much better chart? Doesn't that look like an awesome looking chart almost? And then we get this and some serious selling going on. So the more of these that we see, the more I want to be aware for the ICX. So ICX definitely looks like the pissing off the roof formation. It's not giving us a nice bottom anywhere along here. I don't know if it ever got into our alert statuses. Let's go and see. ICX. You see the power of this sheet now. Let's go and see. Boom. I can go into ICX and pull it all the way back and say, yeah, we never got into it. In all of the coins that we watched and everything that we did, there was nothing going on with ICX. We didn't spend any time on it. We didn't spend any money on it. And so now that it's going down and we are already in Bitcoin, it's okay. But I love that the system knows which ones to get us into, which ones not to get us into, and when we are into coins, that tell us when to get out of the coin. Phenomenal. ZIL we did, and I don't know if that was thanks or theta. Although look at theta. But I know we're looking at much the same thing all the way along. I want you guys to remember this divergence. Not only the divergence, but what are the things on both sides of the street? So if this is breaking higher for this relative strength index here, I want to know when I'm wrong. I don't want to just assume that I'm right on this. Just because I think it doesn't mean I'm right. So I want to know when I'm wrong. This is what I'm going to see. So that I know that in the scientific experiment, scientifically, I am correct when things are starting to come down here, and I am wrong. And it's important to know when I'm wrong so that I put my money in the right place and have it always growing one side of the boat or the other. Either it stays in Bitcoin and stays there, or it goes into alt and grows into more Bitcoin and then back into Bitcoin. Boom. How can I get Bitcoin in the background? I love that question. This is phenomenal. That's what the live stream is for. Go to this, add or compare symbol. Type in the symbol. Let's go see BTC USD, and I have Bitfinex in the Bitfinex in the background. Let's add Dogecoin. There it is. So now I can go to the Dogecoin details. Change this into an area chart. That's not pretty. Maybe because I have two area charts right now. And you can play around with the details so that you can have this set up here. Let me delete this one though. And I'll open up this one. The more faded you put the color, the better, just for the contrast. And then it'll be dark blue at the top and down to fading out near the bottom. I find that's good. So hopefully that helps you as well. And I think you can do the same thing on TradingView. I'll be doing more on TradingView because I've taken this spreadsheet, I've taken this trading method, And I worked with one of the top TradingView script writers. And we worked back and forth for a while, and he has written a script for us now that takes care of this trading methodology, the entries and the exits. So it will take care of the entries and the exits on these trades. And I'm going to be hooking it up with Signally so that you can subscribe to Signally and have it manage your account for you. And I'm very excited about it because then I can hook up my account to it and save me a ton of work. Let's jump into Bitcoin now and finish up the episode by seeing what's going on in the main coin. Clickety click, click. 1 day view. There's no way to know what the future is going to bring, but I am erring on the side of this probably going higher. We can see the RSI is building nicely. We see this bowl shape pattern. Inside this we have the 1, 2, 3 formation. And if I zoom in now using this new combination indicator on the 4-hour time frame, you can see what we're looking for here is a cross above the midline and a cross of the MACD indicator. In addition to being a 1, 2, 3 formation building up here at a significant support and resistance level from somewhere. Not that, yeah. I thought there was something more recent actually. But as this is crossing to the positive and we're breaking out, that's it. We're sitting back now. That's it. This is what we're looking for. So that's it. It's 4:14. Time for me to sign off. This has been a nice long stream. I appreciate it. But it's time for me to go.